to take an image and make it into a 3D model, but this time I'm going to make it into a glass sculpture. And so I did this one yesterday with Selena Gomez. I did this one also, so let's get started. So first thing is pick an image and then upload it here to background BG. I already did it. This is what my image looks like. It's perfect because the hands are visible and it's front facing. So I'm just going to download that. I'm going to go here, which I actually got from the source code, which I linked in resources here. So source code, if you scroll all the way down, there's a Google Colab option. If you open that up, you can copy this to your own drive to have your own copy. So that's what I did, and this is my own copy. So then at this point, I would go to, at the top over here, I'm just going to go to the little arrow and connect to a hosted runtime, and then wait for that to actually connect. And then I'll go here to little files and I'll go to the top and then I'll say run all. And then it should start running all the code snippets until you kind of get to a part where it says choose file. So I'm going to choose the file. I'm going to choose this one, open that up, and then it's going to take a little while. The only thing I would want to mention is if I scroll down, there's this part where it says, if you get an error in the next cell, you can instead try the following command. So originally, I had this uncommented and I got an error, so I just commented that out by adding a hashtag and then uncommented this one by removing the hashtag. And so this is really the one that I'm using and it works for me. So it takes a while, but yeah, let's wait. All right, and the result should appear right about here in the rendered result. So I'm just gonna download the video, but really what I'm trying to look for here is the actual object file, which I can import into Blender. So I'm gonna go to this little folder over here called PIFUHD, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, and then there should be a folder called results, and inside the results, there should be another folder called final, and then in Recon, there should be the files, and if I extend them, I'm able to see which one is which. So this one is OBJ over here. So there's multiple ones because I ran this 5,000 times, but either one works. It's the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and download. And once it downloads, it should appear at the bottom here. This is a PNG image. Um, it's kind of just showing everything, but then really what I want is the OBJ file. So I'm just going to go here to Blender and I'm going to go General File and go to at the top File and then Import and then OBJ. And then I'm just going to click on that file. Which one is it? This one, I believe. So import that. Oops, I forgot to delete the cube. And this is the result. So we have her with the dress. We can right click shade smooth to kind of get a smoother result, but I think, this is it. And in Blender, you can definitely go into sculpt mode and just use this as a template if you want. You can use a smooth brush and, just smooth things out. Just go over everything, smooth it out, kind of something like that. All right, and then what I would actually do is to get it to a glass material, I would just go to the little dartboard material, click on new, and then for the surface, I'm just going to change it to glass BSDF, and then I'll go to render properties, change this to cycles, and then I'll go to render preview at the top right corner so I can see it, but clearly you can barely see it. It's like really not glass, it's mostly kind of like a shading. So to fix this, I'll go back to material properties and kind of play around with these values. So kind of put this one down and then decrease the IQR a bit. And then to see this even more, it would help to add a backdrop. So I'll do Shift A and add a plane and then do GZ to bring this down. And then just so things would be faster, I'm going to go into solid mode, go to edit, go to edge select these edges here by pressing Shift. Actually, let me just select this one here in the back. Then press E to extrude and then Z to extrude along the Z axis, which is the blue one. And then back in object mode, I'll go to modifiers, which is the wrench icon, and add a bevel. That's going to add just a bevel to the edge. I'll increase the amount and the segments to make a backdrop. I'm going to go to the arrow, click apply, and then I'll just scale it a little bit. And then S and an X to scale along the X axis. And G and then Z to bring it just slightly down so that everything is visible. And now I'm just going to click on the model, go to material properties again and just change the values so that the roughness is 0.059 and the IQR is 1.850. And then at this point, I would go to front view by pressing the button under the escape key and hovering over front, and then just kind of moving it up a bit and then doing Control Alt Numpad 0 to align my camera to my view. But then that's not going to work if you don't have edit preferences inputs and then emulate numpad on. This has to be on for this to work if you don't have a numpad. Now for the backdrop, I'm going to actually go to shading. I'm going to click on new, and I'm actually going to do Shift A and get a color ramp because I want there to be like a gradient. So I'm going to connect that to the color, and then I'm going to select this second arrow here, make sure that it's red. To see this, I'm going to go to material preview. And really I want this to be a gradient. So what I'll do is I'll do Shift A and get a gradient texture and then connect this color into the factor and then just kind of move this to be kind of about here. So I kind of want it to be like split, right? Something like black and red, something like that. And that's literally it. And then I would just go back into layout and I'll add a light. So I'll do Shift A, mesh, not mesh, go to light, add an area, and then I'll go here, change the power to 500 and the size to 5. And then I'm going to press G and then Z to move this up along the Z axis. And then I'll do R and then X and then 90 to rotate along the X axis. So it's facing towards the model. Then GY to bring it kind of back, GZ to bring it downwards. Have something like this, maybe bring it up a little bit more. And then numpad 0 to go back to that view. And if I go to render preview, I'll be able to kind of see it now a little bit more. Probably want to kind of increase the distance here. Now I can go ahead and render image.